Welcome back to Snetterton, opening round of the 2012 Radical UK Cup, and Zach Chapman in car 28 leads the way after the pit stops. He's managed to insert himself here into the battle for second in the SR3 class between the bright orange car of Nick Padmore and then the blue and black car of number 8 Alex Capardia, and Chapman wisely letting Capardia go through as we've got two drivers recovering up through the field here. This is Bradley Ellis in the number 6 car, who's up into 5th position now. Great drive from Bradley, and then Manhals in the 61 car with the disappointment from missing the early stage of the race from pole position as Capardia goes around Padmore, taking advantage of the traffic. So Capardia goes second in class. Brave move up the centre straight into riches. Now what can Nick Padmore do about challenging him? The problem they've got is that they are in amongst some slower runners. Now that Zach Chapman has got through them, he really has just got to set his sights on getting to the checkered flag, the maiden victory in the Dunlop Radical UK Cup. So they're up behind Colin Noble, it's about to go a lap down. Capardia and Padmore will really want to get past Colin as quickly as possible, possibly into Montreal. Sean Balfe, their third in the race, is being caught here by Stuart Mosley in car number 1. Now we thought that Stuart could be on for a quick one here, and he really is closing in on Sean Balfe. James Littlejohn is second as Bradley Ellis and Matt Ellis swap places, although they are not racing for position. They're still enjoying a good dice here. I think Ellis would quite like Alos just to drop back so Bradley can come through and claim that 5th position. Matt Bell there in the lead of the SR3 class, continuing to pick his way through some of the slower runners to move towards the closing stages. He is about to be passed as well by Ross Kaiser in the 88 car. I say he's about to be passed. Ross Kaiser can't find his way through in towards Palmer. The second place car there of James Littlejohn exits Nelson. It's been a solid drive from James Littlejohn and Tony Wells. The SR8, a new car for them this season, and they've adapted to it very quickly. Littlejohn unable to do anything about this man, Zach Chapman, who is looking very good for the win here, but the fight for third is going to go all the way to the line between Balfe and Mosley. The checkered flag is getting ready this time around. Here it is, and here comes our race winner, Zach Chapman. He claims the win in the opening round of the season. James Littlejohn already through in second. Now what about this fight for third? It's going to be a drag race to the line as they come on to centre straight. Bobbing and weaving is Sean Balfe. I think he's just got the legs here. He does. Super finish to the race, with then Matt Bell claiming an excellent win in the SR3 class, and 8th in the race overall. So here are your final results, with the win to Zach Chapman, second place to James Littlejohn and Tony Wells, third to Sean Balfe and James Abbott, just from Stuart Mosley and Mark Smithson. How well would they have done but for that first lap incident, with Bradley Ellis and Andy Cummings rounding out the top 5. Celebrations there for Zach Chapman in pit lane. James Littlejohn and Tony Wells debrief, and handshakes all around to Sean Balfe. First podium of the season and first ever Radical podium for Zach Chapman. He gets the bubbly and the round of applause from the Radical faithful.
Zach, what a fantastic first race here with Radical. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a perfect start to our season, really. We were lucky that Manhole wasn't on the grid, so we had a kind of easy start. Managed to get a good first corner and then started building a gap in the first stint and then maintaining it in the second, really.
Fantastic stuff. And obviously your dream is to race at Le Mans, and you've raced this entire 40-minute race on your own. Do you intend to continue to do that throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I continue to do it throughout the year, and it's a long race, but I feel good, and my training's obviously working. I must get back on it next week. There's no rest.
Guys, huge congratulations on your second place for the first race here of this season. Talk us through your part of it then, Tony.
Well, I guess with Manhao out because of the engine failure, then it made it quite close at the beginning. Zach came across. I had to get out of it a little bit, and then everybody was very close in turn 1. Basically, I just stayed narrow into turn 2 and kept out of the way. And I looked in my mirrors, and I could see that there was something going on. I saw that Mark had spun, and then it was just a case of it took a couple of laps to get the front tyres up to temperature, and then I caught Zach. And then maybe just the car started to go off a little bit towards the end, and I was a couple of 3 seconds behind him at the handover.
And James, you had to sort of move the car during your driver changeover, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I think that was partly a team sort of error. We stopped in the wrong lane in the pit lane, so the marshal swiftly moved us on to the concrete section a bit close to the garages. But we had 70 seconds in the pit stop, so we had plenty of time to move the car, get strapped in. You know, I still had about 10 seconds left after all the kerfuffle before I had to leave the pit lane.
James, congratulations on your 3rd place for race 1 this year. How did you do it?
I just followed the car in front, really. Just a little move around Mark on the first corner, and just tried to keep in touch with Tony, really.
You've been away from Radicals for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I've been competing in Europe in the V2V series over there in a Norma. So very different. The races are a lot longer. They're up to 6 hours long, whereas this is quite short. So, but it's great to be back. It's been too long.
And how does it compare in terms of actually driving the car and the handling and things like that?
I think these move around a lot more. They're a lot lighter, well, they feel a lot lighter. I think the Norma has probably a little bit more aero, so it's under braking. It's probably a little bit later, but these are great fun to drive. It's yeah, a good fun.
And so you and Gary are driving together for this season, and you're out first now for race 2, aren't you? Have you got any strategy in mind?
Just go for it. You know, we're using the tyres from race 1, so hopefully they'll just hang on for this race and it'll be all right. But you know, if we can have a win in class, be ideal. But we'll see what happens. It'll be good. Gary's fully lit at the moment, so that's helping a lot. His neck's given up. He's probably moaned already about his neck, but if it just holds together, he should be all right.
So Stuart, you're out first for race 2, and how did you do in qualifying?
Yeah, qualifying went really well. We're really happy with the time that we were able to achieve. It would be nice to be able to do that lap time every lap, but obviously it's the beast that we have, so we have to see if we can pull as much of a lead as possible, because it's going to be very difficult to beat the likes of Manhow and Zach Chapman.
Well, it's almost time for the beginning of race 2. Should be a really interesting race. Manhow Alos is 6th on the grid. He didn't even make up any places last time after his engine problem, so he'll be wanting to get as far ahead as possible. Zach Chapman, who won race 1, is in 4th, so he should be wanting to get right up to the front of the grid as well. We've also got Stuart Mosley, Bradley Ellis and James Littlejohn in the top 3, so anything could happen. It should be a really exciting race.
Certainly should be, Lucia. Very much looking forward to this one as the cars head off on their formation lap. And it is really a tantalising lineup we've got at the very head of the grid. Bit of a slow getaway there for Peter Bamford. He should get engine fired up. So here's how they line up with Stuart Mosley in pole position alongside him. Bradley Ellis, 2nd row of the grid. James Littlejohn and race 1 winner Zach Chapman. Here with Bradley Ellis. What a shot this is from inside the roll hoop, giving us really a driver's eye perspective as we head towards the rolling start. Look for those red lights on the gantry, because when they go out, we're about to go racing. The field all bunching up. Stuart Mosley taking them nice and slow to the line. Out go the lights, the way we go here at Snetterton as they charge towards Richards, fanning out 4 or 5 abreast, but I think Mosley's just going to have the advantage into Rich. Yes, he is. It gets very congested for 2nd. Bradley Ellis claims the corner though, with Alos in 3rd and James Littlejohn in 4th position as they surge to the heaven at Montreal. And that's as they are, with also a good start there from Ross Kaiser. 1 or 2 getting pushed wide in the midfield, but everybody cleanly through, which is the important thing. It's a leading duo, or should it be field really, because there's 7 or 8 of them running in a train. And heading up the SR3 group though is Nick Padmore, so he holds on to his pole position in the SR3s from qualifying in the other stages. Bradley Ellis closing in though on Stuart Mosley through Agostini, accelerating on towards Hamilton, very quick. Right-hander kicking up the dust is Alos there in 3rd position with James Littlejohn. Nick Jones will be slightly frustrated to be in 4th after the start. Very quick driver is James, so he'll be wanting to stay with the leaders in these early stages to make sure that no gaps begin to appear. Peter Bamford there in his SR8 has got Jamie Stanley now on his tail. Stanley moving ahead of Nick Padmore to take the lead of the SR3s as they charge down the Bentley Straight for the first time of asking, then through Brundle and Nelson. Still Stuart Mosley leads, and Bradley Ellis goes with him, then a slight gap back to Manhow Alos, who's got James Littlejohn swarming all over his tail. Good battle that one, ready for 3rd and 4th position. Then here come the SR3s. Look at them, just one long train covering the entire field. Radical Racing at its very, very best through Coram Curve. And Ross Kaiser closing in off the tail of James Littlejohn and Man Alos, so 3rd, 4th and 5th run together. Lap 1 completed, Stuart Mosley from Bradley Ellis, then Alos, Littlejohn, Kaiser as quickly as you can say it really as they streak through. And into second lap it's then Zach Chapman who run race 1 in 6th position. And Chapman looking to keep his powder dry in these early stages. Stuart Mosley just looking to put out a gap over the rest of the pack. Littlejohn just having half an eye on the outside line there into Montreal, possibly trying to take Mount Alos by surprise, but Alos, experienced radical driver, has been in the 4th place in the championship the past few seasons, and he knows a thing or two about winning races as well, so it's going to be a hard man for Littlejohn to pass in car with Bradley Ellis as he moves to claim the late apex at Agostini and accelerates on towards Hamilton, very quick left-hander. Alos turns through it now, with James Littlejohn still in hot pursuit in that 4th position. Both of them experienced drivers, and there's Ross Kaiser as well in 5th, homing on their tails. So they turn through Williams and on to the Bentley Straight. Nobody probably quite close enough on this occasion to be able to challenge 4th position. The same doesn't go for this battle between Colin Noble and Matt Bell, the SR3 class winner from the earlier race. And he is having to do John Reynolds at the moment and try and find his way past Colin Noble. The race leaders exit Nelson, accelerate on towards the bomb hole, and Bradley Ellis is really closing in here on Stuart Mosley. So 1st and 2nd coming together, as are 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, because Zach Chapman has joined this battle. These 4 cars running pretty much line astern through the bomb hole. It's Ross Kaiser who's possibly making the most ground as Ellis there. There's a little bit of a twitch through Coram Curve, out of Murray's and on to the centre straight. The leading duo able to put quite a bit of distance now between this fight for 3rd position. There is Zach Chapman in the white 28 car, looking to use the slipstream to close in on Ross Kaiser. As off goes Peter Bamford at Coram Curve. Bamford bounces across the grass, so the man behind Super Dry Clothing keeps it cool. The leading duo continue to fight. Bradley Ellis sliding through Montreal as well. It's a fantastic battle we've got here for the lead in the Radical UK Cup here at Snetterton. We're off for a break. We'll be back in a few moments' time for the conclusion of the race.